Welcome to Strengths Champion Solutions, where we help you grow stronger, work smarter, and live richer. I'm your host, Brent O'Bannon, and today I want to talk about a question that many people ask me about. How do you make sense of strengths and weaknesses? Well, one way that you can think about your strengths and your weaknesses is to understand that strengths are like sails on a sailboat. Weaknesses are like leaks in your sailboat. I'll flesh that out for you here in just a moment. But I want you to first think of this quote: weakness fixing prevents failure. Strengths building leads towards success. So imagine that you have a sailboat and you have leaks in that sailboat. Let's just say you have major leaks and you have minor leaks. So leaks can be big, like maybe there is a career type of blind spot that you have, a behavioral or personality or weakness that is such a big blind spot that it's hurting your career, hurting your business, hurting your personal life. Absolutely, you want to plug that leak. Maybe you have minor leaks in your sailboat. These are small tendencies. Maybe, for example, you are great at coming up with ideas, but having relationships is really difficult. Or maybe executing on your ideas is really difficult. These are weaknesses. They are minor leaks. Now, if you plug up those leaks, that is absolutely necessary so that your sailboat doesn't sink. So it's true that we can't allow our weaknesses to go unmanaged. You have to plug the leaks. But just because you plug the leaks doesn't mean you have success. All you're doing is floating on the sea of possibility. But what strengths are, they are like sails on a sailboat. And when you discover and unfurl those sails on your sailboat, and you get into an environment where there is positive wind blowing in your sails, then you will sail faster and you will sail more efficiently to the dreams and to the aspirations and the goals that you have. So this is exactly a concept that I teach many organizations, teams, and entrepreneurial leaders that I work with. So I've developed acronyms to help you to understand and to apply this. So I'd like to, first of all, help you to understand what leaks are in your sailboat. So these are weaknesses. So think of the word leak, L-E-A-K. First of all, weaknesses are things that we loathe. Marcus Buckingham talks about this word in his book, Go Put Your Strengths to Work. So weaknesses are activities, situations that we hate to be in, that we do not have energy to be in. We literally will procrastinate on these particular things because we hate and loathe dealing with them. Escape is the E in leak. And whenever you have a weakness, you will want to run away. You will want to procrastinate. You will want to be passive and avoid the very thing that someone is asking you to do. So whenever someone asks me to sing a song in karaoke, I want to escape. I do not want to be on a stage attempting to sing because it is a weakness of mine. Now, another example of a weakness is the A in leak, and it stands for average. So in other words, I could take singing lessons, which I have. I could watch and learn from other people who sing. I could get knowledge. I could get skills. I could even get practice. But no matter how much knowledge or skills or practice I get, I only remain average. I don't become above average. I don't become someone that other people want to actually listen to. So that's another sign that it's a weakness. Is the more knowledge, the more skills, the more practice you have, you don't seem to be making much improvement. And then finally, the K stands for kink in your stomach, kink. So think of a weakness is whenever someone asks you to do this particular activity, you get stress, you get anxiety to the point you want to vomit. You get a kink in your stomach. You know what I'm talking about. So any of you that are listening to this LinkedIn Live right now, this video, I'd love for you to put in the chat, what are some specific examples of weaknesses that you loathe, you want to escape, you're only average in, and you get a kink in your stomach when you think about this particular weakness area? I can tell you just a couple of mine. Number one, that is mathematics. I remember a painful story in 8th grade where I was learning algebra and my teacher wanted me to do a particular mathematic formula on the chalkboard. And I felt so embarrassed. I felt so ashamed. And believe me, my dad, who is great in mathematics, he invested in a tutor. He, helped me study. We did everything possible to help me. I was only average at mathematics. And to this day, I don't have any desire to be in any details with numbers. Now, making money, yeah, I like that kind of mathematics. But my wife, who is brilliant at mathematics, she does all of our QuickBooks. She does all of our invoicing. She takes care of all of our bank account information. And we are a great complementary partnership on that. So go ahead and put some examples of your leaks and weaknesses in the chat. Now, here's the second part of this acronym that I want you to notice today. And that is that your strengths are like sails. So think of the acronym SAIL. So first of all, S stands for success. I can remember the first time I played tennis, and when I picked up a racket, I could feel success. I could feel like this was actually, I was pretty good at it. I was naturally as good or better than someone else who had already been practicing. And typically with your strengths, you will show this aptitude towards success. Now, of course, you have to add knowledge and skills and practice to become more masterful, but you will get glimpses of excellence and success. Now, the A in SAIL stands for authentic. Your strengths are the most authentic, hardwired part of your brain and your talent. It is the super highway that is in your brain naturally. And the more that you perform this behavior, this activity, then it just feels so natural. For me, again, tennis, and public speaking are very authentic for me. It fits my personality. It fits my strengths. It's not something I have to work as hard over. Actually, I want to work hard at both of those areas that are authentic for me. But that leads to another one of the sails in just a moment. Now, the I in sail is invigorating. The more that you do a particular strength, the more you're invigorated and energized. So not only is a strength something that you have potential for success and mastery in, but it's also something that energizes you and you feel invigorated every time you do it. So it's very difficult to actually get burned out when you're using your authentic strengths, because the more I play tennis, the more that I do public speaking, the more that I do executive strengths-based coaching, the more invigorating I get. Now, can I get tired? Physically, yes. Mentally, yes. But the activity still invigorates me, and I want to keep doing it. Now, the L in sail is love. And there's actually two pieces of this that I like to say, and that is that when you have a particular strength, you love to learn more about that particular activity or behavior. So maybe it's podcasting, maybe it's writing, and you just love adding knowledge, skills, and practice. You just love studying and getting more certifications. You love, it's kind of like those of us in the strengths world, we are strengths nerds. We are strengths fanatics. We are strengths champions because we love the world of strengths. So I'd love to have you put into the chat now, what are some examples of strengths that you have in formal language from StrengthsFinder, aka Clifton Strengths, or informal strengths language that you use? These are strengths that you have success in, they're authentic, they're invigorating, and you love. Now, when we have areas of weakness, especially that are minor weaknesses, the question is, okay, I still have to fill out forms. That's actually an area that I despise, is filling out forms. And so one of the things that I've had to learn to do is to plug the leak. Because you know what? I have many different clients. If I don't complete my form for billing, I don't get paid. And so I have to find a way to use my authentic strengths to fill the forms. So here's the way to do it. You plug your leaks. So the first is P. P stands for plan. Now, plan intentionally, how could you use certain strengths to help you in that area that you are average? So, for example, I like to use my focus and my achiever. Those two are willing to do the hard work and even to do things that I might not enjoy. So it gives me a sense of persistence and resilience. So I know the carrot is I want to get paid. So therefore, I will plan to use my focus and achiever to get those done. Now, the L in plug stands for leave. Believe it or not, there are some major weaknesses and some minor weaknesses. You have a choice to be proactive and leave it. That's right. So what if you could design your work and your life around 80% of your strengths and only 20% is you managing your weaknesses and getting those things done that you have to get done. We all have to vacuum the house or the carpet. We have to stop and put fuel in the car. You have to have conversations with people, even if that feels like a weakness for some of you engineers. But I can tell you there are parts of our work that you sometimes can make a proactive choice to walk away and you can leave it. So, for example, let's just say you are not a good writer and you do not want to write to have a blog. Well, guess what? You can create videos, which is much more energizing and fits your strengths, and you can hire a team that will create that content for you into a blog format. But you leave that activity to someone else. And that leads me to the U in plug, which is unite. That means we need complementary partners. So I can tell you, I need other team members who can do those things that I am not energized and I am only average at. You know, many companies and teams get stuck because we try to take control and have our hand in every part of the work in the business. And we are blocking other people's excellence, which actually could be better than ours. So many CEOs who are the best have learned to hire the great talent, to take over those areas that they are weak in, and that creates exponential growth. So who are your strategic partners? Who are the people you need to barter with, you need to hire, you need to delegate to, so that you are uniting with the right talent and the right strengths to get the job done with excellence? And then finally is G in plug, which is grow. Now, here's what I mean by that. A growth mindset means you're willing to add knowledge, skills, and practice so that you have incremental growth. There are a lot of executives and entrepreneurs that I have coached over the years who hate public speaking. They despise it. And one of the ways that we coach them is, how can you grow in your public speaking by being intentional with your strengths? I can remember coaching one particular chief operations officer who, for example, he had relator in his top 5. He was a little shy. He had deliberative, where he was a little private. And he had high belief as well. So he had very strong core values. Yet he was super anxious, even speaking up in a team meeting, giving a public talk. So we coached him. How could he, number one, with his belief, how could he communicate to other people that he is only willing to talk about those things that he has strong values and core beliefs about, and that he would not talk about those topics that he did not have strong passion in? His relator strength, we helped him to understand that by having more of a natural, authentic conversation with his audience, more like a coffee talk, where you would just sit and ask questions and maybe share a personal story, all of a sudden public communication became much easier for him because he was intentionally using his relator strength. And then finally, his deliberative strength, it actually helped him to create and to prepare before public talks. So his deliberative would think about, what are the potential landmines, the potential problems with this audience and the way that I'm going to communicate. So he would create an outline and create a success plan how he could actually give a better talk. Now, did he become world class in public speaking? No. But he was managing his weaknesses. He was plugging the leaks. And that is my point. There are things in our life that we can plan to use tools, systems to help us. We can leave behind certain weaknesses. We can unite with others, and we can intentionally grow with our strengths. Now, Donald Clifton, who is the inventor of StrengthsFinder, aka Clifton Strengths, said this in his book, Soar with Your Strengths. Managing our weaknesses allows our strengths to overpower them, ultimately making them irrelevant, making your weaknesses irrelevant. One quick example of this is a Chinese ping pong player who won the Olympics and was asked afterward how he won the championship. Now, what was interesting about this Chinese champion was that he only hit forehands when he played ping pong. He had such a powerful forehand that he practiced every day and perfected that no one could actually get him in a position to hit a backhand. Literally, because of maximizing his forehand, he was able to make his backhand irrelevant. And he became dangerous and a champion because of focusing on his strength versus trying to fix his weakness. Now, what is your best takeaway from this video today? Number one, what are the minor and the major weaknesses in your work and your life? Write those down and share it with someone. Number two, what are your areas of greatest potential, your talent, your strengths? What would you like to spend 80% of your work role and your life activities doing? And then number three, those weaker weaknesses in your life. How could you plug the leaks to manage the weaknesses so that you are still living a life focusing on your strengths and managing your weaknesses? I would love to hear from you. If you want to explore this topic as a new potential client, you can schedule a complimentary Ask Brent Anything call, which I put into the notes just by going to BrentO'Bannon.com. You'll see at the top of my website how you can schedule Ask Brent Anything. So I hope today that you've learned some tips how to grow stronger, work smarter, and live richer.